Alright, what's going on, you heathens? You haven't seen me in a while. I'm still going to say the intro even though it's not as true, but if you see my face, you know you're getting the best settings for a controller on a Marvel Rivals hero. You're also going to get some other content as you've seen recently, but today we're doing what you guys have been asking me in my comments for like a month now, even though I took a season off of Rivals. We're getting Ultron settings. I know you guys have been asking him. I'll add him to the spreadsheet earlier. I was going to give this out earlier, but I hadn't played enough games with him. I really wanted to master stuff with him, but a few things that have changed in my controller game overall. I've swapped my main controller, and the way I use my thumbsticks is different. So let me get into that quickly. You can skip ahead if you don't care, but my new favorite controller now is not the Fly Digi, even though that's a fantastic controller still. I'm using the Wolverine V3 Pro. It is an Xbox controller, right? You should see the little logo here, but it does not have mandatory input lag. General rule of thumb, if you're buying a controller, you want it to be PlayStation because they are just better made overall. But Razer went ahead and made an Xbox compatible controller that is actually decent, and it's my favorite. If you hold this correctly, which is the way I hold it, not normal. Whenever you're holding control, you want to have it like this, because so you always have your buttons on the bumpers and the triggers, and you kind of hold it like this. I would adjust it, up to you. If you hold it normal, controller feels fine. Hold it like this, it feels a little bit small. Be warned, it's felt small in my hands. I actually put it down for a while and used the Fly Digi instead because it felt so small in my hands. But since I was swapping over to keyboard and mouse to learn that, which I'm in the process of learning soon, I'll make some videos about swapping. I'm actually using this contraption to swap. So if you have any tips for that, let me know, because I'm in the process of learning K-Bam. But I figured I'd give it another chance, gave it another chance, and made myself learn to use it, and it is by far my most accurate and useful controller. So I thought I would recommend that to you. Again, before, when you saw my other videos, I recommend foam around the right stick and a thumbstick extender. Thumbstick extender, definitely still feel that way, right? You got to get a thumbstick extender for your right stick, not your left. Never put one on your left. I have a little bit of a grippy thing on the left, but don't extend it at all. You need to have foam or something around your right stick. The issue with foam that I was recommending before, a bunch of these foam rings, I've got purple, I've got green, they wear out as you push into them. Obviously, I'm pushing the edge of my controller to flick around as we get into it in a little bit, but after you use them for a while, they're like basically just air. They wear out. So I thought, what's a good material that doesn't wear out, that has the same resistance properties? And what I found was rubber or silicone. So that's what I've swapped to. I'm using silicone rings now, and oh my, it took some getting used to. They are much better, and once you buy them, you never have to buy new ones. So that's the biggest thing for the value. So I recommend silicone rings. Before I kind of keep the door open for a sponsor, so I'm not going to say a company name yet, but this is what they look like. I got two different types. There's the full silicone ring like this, and then I've got the ones with the little holes. The ones in the little holes I found are better, but those are the options you're going to find on Amazon. They're very cheap. And again, once you buy one, you don't have to buy any more because they don't wear out. So I use the green. I think the white and the green are the best in this particular type. You want to get the softest because silicone is a little bit stiffer, but I wanted to share that with you. That's what's changed in my game, and it has made it way better. Also, this has Hall Effect sticks. You need to have Hall Effect or TMR sticks to be super accurate and never get stick drift. That lets you stay on 0 dead zone on your right stick. That makes you super accurate and flicky. Now, to get into his actual settings. Okay, sorry to yap for too long, but I want to explain to you how I stay accurate here. You don't have to use the things around your thumbstick if you're accurate without them. Props to you. You're a crazy player. But let's go over my bindings first. You're going to see some of my bindings are going to be a little weird to you. Again, the biggest benefit of this controller is I've got these extra bumpers. I have 2 bumpers. There's 3 buttons here on the front of my controller. I obviously hold it like this. I press this button, which is what my Y button for my heels here. This, or the shield here, and then my left trigger is the heel drone. I click in my left stick to hit that dash, and that is pretty much his kit there. Left bumper to go down, right bumper to go up, and then using the stick. You need to have something set to these where you are pressing them and you keep your thumb on the left stick. That is the most important thing. Even if you're on a grounded character that doesn't fly, jump and it needs to be bound to something where you don't lift your finger off of either of the sticks. No matter what your bindings are, going to be different for everyone. You have to have your thumbs on the thumbsticks at all times, no matter what. Whether you got paddles to make up for it, these buttons up here, I've got 6 extra buttons to make sure that I can do this. That's how you stay competitive. Do not be going like this over here to hit jump, okay? Never. Or ascend. That's even worse, because then you're going to be going, you're aiming, you're following people, right? You're staying accurate, you're following moving targets really well, but oh, I want to go up, you're going to stop, go down, and then move. Or you're going to stop, go up, and then you're going to keep tracking. You need to be able to do this and descend and ascend while you're hitting people and tracking them at the same time to make sure that you are a good moving target. Even when you're healing and doing some of this other stuff, it's going to be important for you to actually be useful. So those are my bindings. Let me explain that. Now, with my resistance rings around my right stick come my sensitivity curve. Dual zone S curve. If you watch any of my Marvel Rivals videos, you'll know that I advocate the crap out of this. You need to be on dual zone S curve. You can get away with linear, but you're not going to get the best of both worlds. On keyboard and mouse, typically, don't show this again, go away. Keyboard and mouse, you're going to see players like stay accurate, track, watching people, and then they can flick around and hit people, right? Obviously, I just did it, though, on my controller. How do I do that, right? Stay accurate, boom, 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 and then flick around. Someone's behind me. Oh, someone's in front of me, and then I'm hitting heals, and then, oh, crap, I'm getting shot in the back. I can flick around and apply pressure here. Usually, you have to pick between either being accurate or good at movement or fast, flicky aim. You use slow sensitivity on controller to stay accurate, but then you're moving around and looking around like this, which sucks, and it makes you rely on aim assist even more so, which is a little bit cheesy. And if you're fast sensitivity, you can get all around, be a harder target to hit, but you are not hitting your shots. What the dual zone S curve does here is this line is reserved for slow sensitivity. I'll explain this whole graph in a second. And then the outside lines here shoot you up to high sensitivity. So this graph represents when you push your right stick out this way, you go farther along in this graph, right? This is 0 sensitivity. And this is, since we have it set to 500 up there, this is 500 sensitivity. You need this at 500. You're not going to be feeling 500 sensitivity constantly. Do not be intimidated by the high sense you see up there, okay? Let me explain why it's like that. You need it to be 500 because when you hit this peak in your graph, you do not want to be peaking at like 300. You don't want the fastest you can go when you're in an emergency situation to be 300 when it could be 5. You need to flick around. Say there's like Wolverine behind you or you're a tank. Or you've got a Spider-Man being annoying and just hitting the 3 techs that he knows. You need to be able to flick around and then start tracking. So what we do is we reserve the small movements of our right stick for slow sensitivity, slow, accurate sensitivity. And then when we're on the outside of our stick, the rest of it, that's the only time we're going to be touching 500 sensitivity. It's going to be an adjustment if you're not used to it. You need to just get used to using the inside of your controller unless you're flicking around. So now you don't use this outside your controller unless in emergencies. You only use the inside. After a while, you're gonna be bad. You're going to play bad for 4 games while you're getting used to it. Your 5th game, it'll start to click. Except the fact that you're going to go into a video game that is meant to be enjoyed and have fun, and that you're not going to have fun for 3 games. That's how you get better at this game. This is just a competitive game. That's the whole premise of the game, is competitive. You want to be competitive, you got to be willing to be bad for a little while you're taking the steps to get better. This is part of that. So that is why we use dual zone S curve to explain this area, right? Let me get a little bit more in depth. We're using little movements. That's what this looks like. These little movements are slow sensitivity. And then fast movements when you go all the way out. All the way out. That's the only time we hit fast sensitivity, these big movements. And then we can track with these little tiny movements. That's another reason why Hall Effect 6 are so important, because the dead zone can go all the way down to 0. That way we can use all those fine little movements to track people, and it gives you a huge advantage there. But I'm going 72, 82, 30, 80. What this does, right, if you're having some issues or you don't have rings around your stick, I recommend bumping this up. What this does, it extends this first line. This first line is your low sensitivity area. The farther out that this goes, the more real estate of your controller is reserved for slow sensitivity, right? So in this area, you're going to feel more like 250 to like 100 sensitivity. Like to talk in terms of what sensitivity you're actually going to be using. Because of the dual zone S curve, you get to use like 2 different senses, and then this outside is going to be like 350 to 500, the farthest you push it. That's how I'm able to go from Tracking well, tracking well, tracking well. People over here. Oh, he's moving around. I'm still able to track him and hit my shots. And then, oh, crap. There's a Spider-Man behind me. I can flick around and go and put pressure on him and create space. And then flick back around and then start healing, put shots on people. Goes with every single character. So that's what that's about. That's what the benefit is of using those. You can also flick from target to target if you're using like Black Widow, because I'm a Black Widow main. So you can go and hit your headshot, kill the guy, and then flick over to the next target, headshot, kill the guy, other guy over here, and then oh crap, there's someone behind me. I'm tracking, boom. Again, another example. Spider-Man's behind me, boom, back into the fight. That's why dual zone S curve is so important on controller in this game specifically. I used it in everything if it has an option, but Marvel Rivals does that way better. Here are the rest of the values. I just want to explain what these do. Also, before I get into the rest, if you want your slow sensitivity area of your controller to be even slower, bring this down, less than 30. The lower that is, the closer it is to 0, right? So if you want the slow sensitivity part of your right stick to be slower, even slower and more refined, lower that down and you'll still keep that outside your stick reserved for fast sense. This is your accuracy meter here, and this is how much of your control you want to reserve for accuracy, right? We can go over my reticle settings. I use the green dot. I use green dot in a lot of stuff. Usually in games, there's not a whole lot of neon green stuff in front of you, so it stands out. That's why I like it. Nice little refined green dot. Helps me stay accurate. These are my settings I use for that. Here are my bindings, obviously. This is the dash, nanoray activation. My melee is my right stick. Again, you got to realize these are usually paddles. If I'm using face buttons, I'm not lifting my thumbs off the stick. So as we're going over, all of these heroes never do this. Okay? Never lift your hand off of your sticks, either of them, for any reason. I don't care if it's D-pad. I don't care if it's your face buttons. Never. I don't care if you have to get paddles or you have to use your bumpers for weird bindings or your right stick or left stick click for bindings. Do not lift your thumbs off of the sticks. And this is the reason why. Okay? You're in here and you want to track this guy, and you're putting good shots and good pressure on him, but the issue is, if you want to move up and down while you're flying around like this and be a hard target to hit, because you're going to be a target, being able to heal and do DPS, you want to be able to shoot and lower yourself at the same time. Shoot and higher yourself at the same time, or fly up higher. Instead of doing this, shooting and then going down without aiming, shooting and then going down without aiming, and then shooting, and then going up without aiming, shooting. Like, no, do that at the same time. Make yourself a harder target to hit while you're applying pressure. That you never lift your thumbs off of the sticks, ever. That way you can go up and down, move around, and still be shooting people like that. That way you're not able to be hit while you are able to hit them. Every single game. I don't care. That's my biggest word of advice to you. Never lift your fingers off of your sticks if you want to be an elite controller player. You're going to think, yeah, whatever, I can get by doing what I've always been doing. I play pretty well like that. You want to play better? You will instantly play better. Just putting it out there. It's a fact. I don't care what you say. You need to be doing that. But that's, if you see a face button on any of my bindings, that's why. Because it's either bound to one of my 4 paddles back here, or these extra bumpers up here. I have them bound to a face button just to use that input there. But these are my Ultron settings. Hopefully they're helpful. I haven't played any Phoenix yet, okay? I just came back to the game. I was Grandmaster with Thor and Black Widow last season before the split. That's why my controller settings videos kind of did well. That was my reputational area there. That was to back up the settings that I found. So this season I'm getting back into Marvel Rivals a little bit. I still want to hit top 500 in the finals. That's why I've been so pushing for it. Got some content creators there that are pushing for it with me. We're going to see if I can hit top rank there. But I'm getting the Marvel Rivals bug, and I'm coming back, and I figured I'd share what I find. If you're upset that you don't see as many controller settings videos from me, one, don't be, because I'm not just going to poop out controller settings videos when I'm not, like, a valued opinion here. If I'm not playing the game, I do not want to share settings that don't work. Like, I want to make sure that I can play at a high level with what I'm sharing with you before I share them, because then who am I to even share them with you if I'm not playing at a high level? So I'm getting back into it. I'm in full control of my character, which is the most important part of settings for characters like this. But here is your Ultron settings that you've been in my finals videos comments begging for. I will get to Phoenix. I'll add him to the spreadsheet, and I hope you enjoyed this. I am almost hoping this video flops so that it shows that my algorithm isn't this anymore. But if it isn't, I guess I'll just have to keep making more of these videos. I love you all. Peace. Sorry for the wait.